Good morning everyone and welcome to the class. At present we are discussing the ideal of freedom, and under this we have discussed the importance of freedom. And in order to understand the importance of freedom, we have we have seen the sacrifices done by the great Nelson Mandela and Aung San Suu Kyi. And from these two real life examples, we understood the importance of liberty. And then we have seen the meaning of liberty. What do we mean by liberty or freedom? Freedom is, of course, absence of freedom, but it does not mean that there should be absence of complete restrictions can be called freedom, because in that situation there will be freedom for only a small group of people. If we want that in society everyone should get the opportunity to develop his or her capacities and capabilities in the full manner, then there is a need of constraint, and that is real freedom, in which everybody is able to hold his own views. Everybody is able to live life according to his or her own rules. Everybody is free to make choices and to make decisions. So this is freedom. Then we have seen the sources of constraint, from where these sources are these constraints are originate. So the first source of constraints is force. What we see that when the government is undemocratic, in that situation the constraints are imposed upon the people through the use of force. And mostly in the colonial period, the colonial government used this source for the imposition of constraint, like in South Africa, which we have discussed in the during the first class, the situation which was prevailing in South Africa. So in that country the colonial government was using force, and in our own country we have experienced this. The colonial power, they were using force in order to put constraints on the people. Then we will discuss the second source of, we have discussed the second source of constraint, and the second source of constraint is social inequalities. In society there are unequal system is prevailing, and because of this inequality what happens, that constraints are imposed on the unprivileged group of the society. And in this regard we have also seen the view of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose regarding the ideal of freedom. He is of the opinion that freedom should be for all. It should not be limited for a group only, but it should be available to all in equal manner. And after this we have discussed why there is need of constraint. Constraints are very much required. Whenever we talk about freedom, we talk about constraints. There cannot be real freedom in the absence of all types of constraints, because if there will be no constraint, then there will be chaos in the society, and only the group which is influential in any term, like if the group is in majority, if the group is socially or politically influential, then that group will be able to impose its own views on the another group, and this will be freedom. This will not be freedom, especially for the another group. So what is required, that there must be some rules and regulations, so that the activities of all the people of the country can be controlled. And in this way an atmosphere will be created in which everybody will get the opportunity to develop himself or herself his capabilities or his her capabilities. So this is freedom. So we have discussed up to this, and then I told you that what is the controversy in the ideal of freedom. Why controversy is there? Problem कहाँ आती है? Problem is कि restrictions होने चाहिए. We all accept it that there must be some restrictions, there must be some limitations, there must be some constraint. But the constraint, the limitation, the restrictions, they should be reasonable. So the problem, the controversy arises when some group of people start saying that this constraint is unreasonable and unacceptable. So this is the problem कि कौन से restrictions को हम reasonable माने और कौन से restrictions को हम unreasonable माने. And in this regard we have started, I told you that John Stuart Mill has given his views regarding the liberty in his essay on liberty, and his views of liberty is known as harm principle. Okay, so I would like to tell you that before going to the harm principle, we will discuss about Swaraj, because you will see in your book some piece of knowledge is given in the boxes. So we have to understand those content of those boxes also. So in one of the boxes you can see it is on page number 20. Page number 20 it is given Swaraj. So first we will discuss Swaraj. What do we mean by Swaraj? Okay. So a concept analogous to freedom in the Indian political thought is Swaraj. In Indian political thought, Swaraj is the term which is used instead of freedom. So both are synonymous. Okay. The term Swaraj incorporates within it two words, Swa and Raj. Swa means self, Raj means rule. So there are two words, Swa plus Raj. The Swa means self and Raj means rule, self-rule. Okay. Swaraj, it means both the rule of the self and rule over self. So this self-rule means rule of the self or rule over self. Okay? Swaraj in the context of the freedom struggle in India referred to freedom as a constitutional and political demand and as a value at the social collective level. So what we see that during our national movement, the political leaders were the demand of political leaders was Swaraj. They wanted Swaraj. British Raj was not acceptable to the people of India. They wanted that we must have Swaraj, and this was the demand of the political leaders. This was the demand of the common people, and it was also a value at the social collective level. So Swaraj, it means rule of self, and it also means rule over self. So it's a value. It means that it's not that arbitrariness. Swaraj ka matlab hua we can rule in an arbitrary manner. No. Swaraj means rule over self. Means there must be some rules and regulations to regulate the behavior of the people. So it is a kind of social collective value. Okay, and then we will see that that is why the Swaraj was such an important rallying cry in the freedom movement, inspiring Tilak's famous statement, Swaraj is my birthright, right, and I shall have it. So we all know the statement of Tilak, what Tilak said, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, that Swaraj is my birthright. When he is saying Swaraj is my birthright, it means that we are born free. Natural liberty. The liberty is given to us by the God, and no one can take away this liberty from us. Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it. If you are snatching this liberty from me or from us, we will have it. हम इसे वापस लेकर रहेंगे. Because the source of this liberty is not any government or state, but the source of this liberty is God. God has given us life and God has given us liberty. Okay? It is the understanding of Swaraj as rule over the self that was highlighted by Mahatma Gandhi in his work Hind Swaraj. Mahatma Gandhi has written a book that the name of that book was one of the books. He wrote so many books. One most important book was Hind Swaraj. It was published in 1909, and in this book he has expressed his views regarding Swaraj. So these are important book written by Mahatma Gandhi. One of the books is Hind Swaraj. Okay. In this book he states, it is Swaraj when we learn to rule ourselves. Just now I told you, na, Swaraj is not rule of self only. It is rule over self. We must know the limitations. It's not always there will be. It's not that there will be always set of rules given by state to follow. We should ourselves understand the limitations and act accordingly. We should rule over self. हमें अपने ऊपर अपने जो हमारे जो ऐसे एक्टिविटीज़ हैं जो कि सोसाइटी के इंटरेस्ट में गलत हो सकता है, उसको हम कंट्रोल करें. दिस इज़ द व्यू ऑफ महात्मा गांधी कि स्वराज मीन्स अपने ऊपर हमको कंट्रोल के साथ ऐसे क्वालिटीज डेवलप करें, देन वी कैन रूल आवरसेल्फ. ओके, इट इज स्वराज व्हेन वी लर्न टू रूल आवरसेल्फ. इट्स नॉट दैट अपने स्वराज है तो बस जैसा चाहें वैसा हम कर सकते हैं. Arbitrariness is not Swaraj. Swaraj means we should be able to rule over ourselves, and then we will be able to rule ourselves, rule the nation on our own. Okay? Swaraj is not just freedom, but liberation in redeeming one's self-respect, self-responsibility, and capacities for self-realization from institution of dehumanization. So these are the views of Mahatma Gandhi. He is saying that Swaraj means not freedom. It is not just freedom कि आज़ादी हमें मिल गई, that is Swaraj. नहीं, this is not freedom. Swaraj means liberation. You are becoming free. You are becoming free in redeeming your self-respect, self-responsibility, and capacity for self-realization from institutions of dehumanization. So it is liberation. It's a kind of liberation through which you are gaining your self-respect. There must be self-respect. Then only we can rule over ourselves and we can rule over the country. So what is important? Swaraj is to get self-respect. Swaraj is to get self-responsibility. We should be aware of our responsibility. It is not that there will be always a state or the government to make us aware of our responsibilities, but we should be aware ourselves of our responsibilities, and then capacities for self-realization from institutions of dehumanization. So at that time, the governmental institutions were based on such atrocities which can be called inhuman. So what is Swaraj? Swaraj is the self-realization from institutions of dehumanization. These kind of inhuman activities which were done by the government institutions, we should realize that this is not human activities. These are inhuman treatment is given to the people of the country. And when we will realize this, that we are treated in an inhuman way, then only we can make effort for freedom or for Swaraj. So this is the view of Mahatma Gandhi. Understanding the real self and its relation to communities and society is critical to the project of attaining Swaraj. So Gandhi is saying that what is important, that you must understand your real self. What are you from within? What are your responsibilities towards the society? What are your responsibilities towards the communities? Then only you will be able to attain Swaraj. So Swaraj means it's not simply ki freedom. It means that you must have the qualities to rule over yourself. Then only you will be able to rule over the country. Gandhiji believed the development that follows would liberate both individual and collective potentialities guided by the principle of justice. So it was the opinion of Gandhi that if we get this Swaraj, then it will liberate, it will work at two levels. The first level is at the level of individual. The individual will become free, and the second work is at the level of society, in which we see that collective potentialities guided by the principle of justice. So at the level of society there will be justice, and everything will be done according to justice, and everyone will be able to develop his or her potentialities. Needless to say, such an understanding is as relevant to the 21st century as it was when Gandhiji wrote the Hind Swaraj in 1909. So we say that whatever view Gandhi has expressed regarding Swaraj is relevant even today also, because at present what we find, we have freedom, we are a free country, but we don't know how to regulate ourselves. We are not able to regulate ourselves. So it is in today's time also it is relevant, and this is the main thing about Gandhism, that Gandhi ने जो भी कहा वो सिर्फ उस समय के लिए सही नहीं था, but it is relevant even today and in future also, because it is based on the basic human nature, and human nature is never going to change. It will always remain same. So it is always relevant. Now we have discussed this Swaraj, and then we will see there is one more piece of knowledge is given in page number 23. You can see it is page number 23, and this is about liberalism. Liberalism is a kind of ideology. Okay, and we will see, because liberalism is derived from the main word is liber. Liber is free. It's a Latin word, and the meaning of this Latin word liberalism is free. So freedom and liberalism are closely connected to each other. So our understanding of freedom will be incomplete if we are not going to understand this liberalism. So first of all, we will understand liberalism. When we say that someone's parents are very liberal, we usually mean that they are very tolerant. So, first of all, in order to understand the meaning of liberalism, just cut this ism. You just try to understand the meaning of liberal. What is liberal? And we use this term in our day-to-day life. Many times you must have heard your friend or in your friend circle you talk like this, that parents of some of your friends are very liberal. Means they are tolerant. They are tolerant to what? They are tolerant to the activities of their children. Okay, so the simple meaning of liberal is tolerant. They are giving permission for so many things which are not usually given by other parents. So this is tolerant. Okay. As a political ideology, liberalism has been identified with tolerance as a value. Okay, liberalism का मतलब ये है कि there must be tolerance. Then only we can be liberal. अगर if we are not tolerant, then we cannot be liberal. Liberal means we are ready to accept so many things. So being liberal, it means that we must be ready to accept the different views and ideas of the people. So, liberals have often defended the right of a person to hold and express his her opinions and beliefs even when they disagree with them. So, this is liberalism. When though we are not agreeing with the views of someone, okay, I'm not agree with your opinion, still I am giving you this right that you can have your opinion, you can hold your opinion. Okay, ये जरूरी नहीं है कि हम आपसे agree करें, but if I am liberal, then I will support right of the person to hold his or her own view. हम agree करें ये जरूरी नहीं है, but हम इस बात को सपोर्ट करेंगे कि हर किसी को अपना व्यू रखने का अधिकार है. Everyone has the right to hold his or her own views regarding any matter. We may not agree with that view, we may agree with that view, that is not the matter. Agree हम कर रहे हैं या नहीं कर रहे हैं उससे कोई मतलब नहीं है. What is the most important thing, that we are accepting that it is the right of each and every person that he or she can hold his own views, or he or she can express, not only hold, but he or she can express these views also. This is liberalism. But that is not all that there is to liberalism, and liberalism is not the only modern ideology that supports tolerance. So we see that there are some other aspects to liberalism also. Other than this tolerance, there are other aspects also. What is more distinctive about modern liberalism is its focus on individual. The focus of liberalism is individual. This is the ideology which gives more importance to individual than the society. For this ideology, individual is more important. Its focus is individual. The individual must get such an environment in which he or she should be able to develop his personality. For liberals, entries like family, society, community have no value in themselves, but only if these are valued by individuals. So, what is important? Individual is important, and other institutions like family, community, society, all these are secondary to the individual. The first and foremost thing is individual. If individual is giving importance to all these institutions, then only these institutions will be important. They would say, for example, that the decision to marry someone should be taken by the individual rather than by the family, caste, or the community. So, the liberal ideology is that the liberalist will support that everyone should have the right to choose that he or she wants to marry to whom. No other than the individual should decide this. Neither the community, nor the family, nor the caste. So, liberalism means we should be free to make decisions. Liberals tend to give priority to individual liberty over values like equality. For liberalism, what is more important? Liberty, freedom is more important. And in order to give importance to freedom, they even neglect the ideal of equality. If they are given a choice between freedom and equality, they will always choose freedom, because in their opinion, individual can develop only in a free atmosphere. So freedom is very much important for individual. They also tend to be suspicious of political authority. They see the political authority with suspicion, because political authority is there to curtail the freedom of the individual. So they see them suspiciously. Historically, liberalism favored free market and minimum role to the state. So, liberalism in ancient time, it meant that the economy should be free, the market should be free, there should not be any kind of control from the state in the economy. The economy should be completely free, it should be in the hands of private individuals. However, present day liberalism acknowledge a role for welfare state and accept the need for measures to reduce both social and economic inequality. So nowadays we see that some changes, some moderation have occurred in the concept of liberalism, because nowadays we have a welfare state, and in welfare state what we find, the purpose of the state is the welfare of the common people. So in order to protect the interest of all the people, there may be some increased activities by the government. The government can interfere to some extent in the economy in order to reduce the social and economic inequality. So this is about liberalism. Okay, and now we will come back to the harm principle of John Stuart Mill. So J.S. Mill has given his views regarding liberty, regarding freedom in his essay on liberty, and whatever his views, these views of John Stuart Mill is known as harm principle. So we will start our discussion by quoting the words of J.S. Mill. The sole end for which mankind are warranted individually or collectively in interfering with the liberty of action of any of their members is self-protection. So what is the view of Mill? Mill is saying that there is only one criteria for the interference in the liberty of someone else, and that criteria is self-protection. Okay, so in order to protect self-protection, okay, in order to protect oneself, one can interfere in the liberty of another person. If the liberty or freedom of another person is causing harm to the existence of any person, then that person can interfere in the freedom of that person. So the only purpose, the only criteria because for which a person can interfere in the liberty of someone else is the self-protection. That the only purpose for which power can be rightfully exercised over any member of a civilized community against his will is to prevent harm to others. So according to Mill, what we see that he is saying that there is only one purpose. Okay, there is only one purpose for which there can be use of power against the will of a person. There is only one reason for the use of power against one person if that person is causing harm to others. If that person is causing harm to the existence of others. If the person is doing like this, then his activities can be curtailed by the use of force also. At that time we can't say that he has freedom, he has liberty, so he can do it. No, if he is causing harm to other people, then in that case his liberty or freedom or activities can be controlled by the use of force also. So this is the gist of the harm principle of J.S. Mill, and we will explain this principle in the next class.